So between the wars, we really see propaganda take the next step in its evolution, that it becomes more sophisticated. And it's not just about posters. It's not, uh, about vilifying, but it is very much using, these common tropes that we find in art and kind of expanding them outward, and then also exploring new media such as cinema, like what you just saw in the YouTube video. Well, anyway, let's take a look at the standard bearer. Um, Hitler looks like this messiah, right? He's, fighting for Germany with the banner of the Nazis flying behind him in the wind. This is a very strong image. And he even made it into a postcard that was just distributed all throughout Germany and beyond. I think that happened in 1938. This was made in what, 32, 33? Yeah. So, pretty famous image. Cool story about it. After the war, right below his eye, it was pierced with a bayonet. And it has been here it's shown without that, meaning that this is probably a picture of a reproduction of it. But the original has a big gaping hole right under the eye. You've seen this video. Moving on. So, Italy really did some cool things with propaganda. And um, I know that sounds kind of weird, but here we see this continuous bust of Mussolini. And this is kind of hailing from a few different influences. One, futurism. Futurism and fascism really connected. We already talked about that earlier in the semester. You can tell by the sense of movement and speed that is shown in this piece that futurism plays a big uh, role in the concept of this piece. But it also hails back to depictions of Janus in Roman mythology, who had two faces, one looking forward to the future and one looking to the past. But here we see Mussolini literally looking in every direction, giving him a sense of omnipotence and uh, uh, that he's seeing everything and knows everything. A really cool ceramic piece. Now, moving on, let's skip across to the United States and how the propaganda machine is manifesting here. Uh, in the midst of the Great Depression and the New Deal is passed, we have Federal Project Number One that is really designed to, keep artists at work. That the New Deal wasn't just focused on manual laborers and things like that. The Secretary of Commerce at the time, Harry Hopkins, said, something to the effect of, "Hell, they've got to eat too." The idea was that, you don't want, you know, people or groups of people to suffer. And, artists were out of work. They needed work too. They were just as entitled to work as manual laborers. Um, Secondly, they wanted the arts, that they were, an immediate concern. They were part of the identity of what would be a great nation. That the arts are part of that. Now, the Workers' Progress, which then evolved into the Workers' Project Administration, um, tasked poster makers to um, essentially get the message out of what the government wanted, to instill some sort of faith and hope and proper uh, actions and way to kind of contribute to the greater good of society. So the idea of these posters was, the propaganda positive and not propaganda neutral. So work promotes confidence. Boom. So they're trying to, rally people to find work, even though it was really hard to find, and so on and so forth. Now, this one by Florence Kawa is a little bit different than what we typically think of as a WPA poster, but I thought that I'd include it because it kind of incorporates elements of like a quilt or other things that you find that aren't necessarily, uh, you know, found in posters. You have, the bustling city behind it, people working diligently in factories and, sewing and making and things like that to help contribute uh, to everything. They all look alike. They are all part of the same uh, entity working for and with each other. Now, the more famous of the posters look like this. Okay, you're going to see, messages supporting the programs that are part of the New Deal. You have planned housing, government housing. You have the famous national parks posters and trying to encourage tourism and travel, seeing the nation as this great place. The investment in libraries, working together for good grades, good health. Really trying to foster some kind of a national identity of learners and trying to stay healthy in this time. Because you have to promote good hygiene, especially when everybody is they don't have the same access to resources. And here's my favorite. Syphilis, the menace to industry. Here you see this giant vat of molten metal being poured in a factory. And it really is talking about something that was a very serious thing at the time, and syphilis was rampant. And this isn't the only poster about it, but I just think it's kind of funny that this is one that was mass produced by the government. Anyway, I'm going to take a break here. Put you on hold. And you're going to watch this video. This is a really awesome painting with a really cool story that, all sorts of controversy, communism, in the United States, and they destroyed the mural, and it was redone in Mexico, and you even see famous people. Let's see, where is he? Rockefeller down here somewhere. Um, Again, with paired with illness and disease. A really cool backstory to this piece. So let's just take a few minutes and watch the video. You may pause now. And welcome back from hold. Now, what we saw with the masses, that magazine during World War I, we see again in Spain. You had this radical magazine, um, or this is from Argentina, sorry, Clarinata. Um, so you have these radical magazines that are, you know, against communism and the spread of Russia's influence on the world, things like that. Promoted as, this demon, this vile creature, but also super anti-Semitic. So it has, you're getting these kind of overtures from Nazi Germany coming into Argentina because Germany had a huge influence on Argentina at this time. Duh. Now, let's hop on over to Spain. One of my favorites. I love the look of this kind of cut out look where it's just black and yellow, blue and white. Communism destroys the family. You have this uh, demon holding the virginal woman again, and this vile creature has a gun with a bayonet on the back of him. You see weeping, grieving people and dead people. Very strong emotional imagery, very stark colors, very very direct and moving piece. And we're going to go back over to Italy here and take a look at the fascist synthesis. We know about futurism and its focus on movement and industry and mechanization and progress. Here you see the letters DVX, which is uh, Latin for the Duke or Duchess, and Mussolini's title was Il Duce, the Duke. And here is Mussolini in the center, dead center, with all of these great nationalistic rallies around him, people holding their swords up in salute, waving the flags, regiments of armies, planes flying overhead, giant, watercraft. This is, a testament to Italy's strength and dominance. Now, what we don't think about so much is, you know, um, how Russia started out um, thinking about art. You think about, like Soviet Russia, communist Russia, and very controlling in um, every aspect of life. But, here, this is, this wonderful, testament to the power of art, that it belongs to the people. It must leave its deepest roots in the thick of the working masses. It should be understood by those masses and loved by them. It must unite the feelings, thoughts, and the will of the masses and raise them. It should awaken in them artists and develop them. Art belongs to everyone, not the elite. That it is this wonderful tool for everyone to enjoy, um, to speak through and to be spoken to. Now, the pinnacle of this is October and Russian cinema. So take a look at this video. Don't watch the whole thing. It's an hour and a half. Watch the intro. Watch around the 10-minute mark. You'll see Lenin appear in this really rallying cry. But this movie documents um, the Russian Revolution. So check it out, and I'll be back with you in the next installment.